I don't know the ebbs and the flows, the ups and the downs, but I know enough, and you're going to tell us the rest, but I know enough to emit a correction here on the program. I've been wrong. And whenever I'm proven wrong, I acknowledge that. I think I've set that track record. And I have been proven wrong again. I'm going to acknowledge it. I made the statement that there were 800,000 people in this country that were going to watch that television program no matter how bad it's. And I was wrong. And I apologize. Brian, what were the ratings for this episode of AEW Dynamite from, I believe, March the 6th?
March the 6th on TBS AEW Dynamite, 8 to 10 p.m. Although it went to 10:07. Hold on, let me just make sure this is the most updated version here. Yeah, 8 to 10 p.m. This is from WrestleNomics. 779,000 viewers on average.
Ouch!
That is down 5% from last week.
The pay-per-view the television after the pay-per-view. For the people who didn't get it, what's going to be said? The tag titles changed hands. Sting retired. This guy did that. No, not only no interest bump, but an interest dip after the pay-per-view.
And again, they have a big episode coming up this next week from Boston, Big Business, the debut of Mercedes Moné. And with AEW, a lot of the issue isn't just getting a number for someone's debut, it's finding a way to maintain any of it. But let's go to this. Once again, these were compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. The Swerve Strickland, Samoa Joe, Adam Cole live promo. 930,000 viewers.
Oh boy, so the bottom is gonna fall out of the market very soon, folks. Strap in, it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Again, a minute at least of the Big Bang Theory to start that off. Quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m. Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland versus Matt Taven and Mike Bennett with picture-in-picture ads. The Chris Jericho Hook backstage angle, an ad break, a recap, and the Young Bucks backstage promo. 785,000 viewers.
Okay, and see, that's why, because when you start with a number like that and considering the overall average, it had to plummet, and boy, howdy did it with 145,000 people in 15 minutes. That, where are we going from here?
Again, no star power. Jericho star power is gone. They've zapped that, thanks to him. But let's go from there. 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. Quarter 3. Hook versus Brian Cage with picture-in-picture ads, a post-match with the Mogul Embassy, and Jericho, a recap, the Orange Cassidy Best Friends backstage promo, 792,000 viewers.
Fluctuation amongst people getting up to go to the bathroom or coming back from getting a sandwich, so we got 7,000 back.
Quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. Matt Menard versus Killswitch, the post-match with Nick Wayne, Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, Nick Wayne's mom, on the ramp, the Kyle O'Reilly backstage promo, an ad break, and a Sting video. 779,000 viewers.
So we've already... The quarter that featured Edge, one of the major WWE stars of the modern era, lost 13,000 viewers from the pissy quarter hour that featured a bunch of these generic jobber indie guys.
Well, to be fair, the fans didn't know that Edge was going to be there. He was a surprise. It was a surprise to Christian and his stable.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. They thought they were just seeing the dinosaur and fucking dipshit.
But there were other surprises. The big 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 9:15 p.m., quarter 5. The Young Bucks live promo, their confrontation with Eddie Kingston, the debut of Okada, and the start of Riho versus Statlander. 865,000 viewers. Also, the high point in the key demo, 411,000.
So taking everything into account, and they haven't lately been doing a bump at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, but in this case, they added 86,000 people. Is that they knew the announcement was going to be Okada because we knew Okada was signing, or was that the fault? In other words, because they brought Okada out as a surprise, but then they kept going in that quarter. I'm wondering if the people suddenly called around to their friends, Okada's out there.
I think a lot of it too is I tried this show for a few minutes. I'll come back after the show I went to instead ends. It ends at 9 o'clock. You go see what's going on the other channel.
More of the normal audience may have just said, well, it's we'll check back in.
Well,
but nevertheless, that's, it's pretty obvious they wanted to see what was going to go on with Okada, if that is indeed the situation.
We go from there to quarter 6, 9:15 and 9:30 p.m. The continuation of Riho versus Statlander with picture-in-picture, the Tony Storm Mariah May backstage promo, an ad break, and Willow Nightingale's backstage promo. 726,000 viewers.
Oh, geez. And then 139,000 people said, fuck, we missed Okada. Oh, God almighty. They lost everybody that they got, plus another fucking 50-something thousand.
They came back at the 9 o'clock hour to see what was there to hold them, and it didn't come. It didn't happen. We go from there to quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m., the Darby Allin promo and confrontation with Jay White, the Julia Hart backstage promo, the wind is blowing in the background. I don't know if anyone could hear that. Oh boy. The the House of Black's backstage promo.
Oh, mamma mia, mamma mia.
There was an ad break and also the Mark Briscoe Jay Lethal backstage angle. 747,000 viewers.
Good Lord. They actually aimed. They actually added people for backstage malarkey.
And finally, Jim, quarter 8, I remind you, we have a 7-minute overrun. Quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m., Will Osprey versus Kyle Fletcher with picture-in-picture twice. 654,000 viewers.
Oh!
7-minute overrun, including post-match confrontation with Bryan Danielson. 676,000 viewers. Final quarter did 306 in the key demo. They drove away those fans too.
Oh boy. 'Cause it was a match for no reason with nobody. If you didn't want to see guys do moves, then they gave you no other reason to watch it.
And they think they're delivering good stories. That's the sickness. That's the problem. They think they're delivering good stories. The people who defend them will say, how could you say they have no stories? The stories are great. The stories suck and no one gives a shit and people tune out.
This kid that dresses up like a guy in this video game is going to fight that kid dressed up like the guy in that video game. And boy, you ought to see the way that they catch each other's foot and boost each other up in the air so they can land on their feet. What the... Let's do our exercise.
Hey, one other thing on this before we wrap things up, because several listeners sent this in, so let's just address this quickly.
Okay.
Will Osprey tweeted out March 8th. When is the 8th? That was Friday. And thus, my first tour under the AEW banner has come to an end. Thank you so much for such an overwhelming response. To everyone backstage, thank you so much for allowing me into the home you've built.
What the?
I will cherish this place and treat it as my own. I'm banged up bad, but my foot is still on the gas pedal. But now I'm going to get on this flight home to my beautiful missus and stepson and enjoy the fruits of my labor. I believe in AEW.
Oh my God.
By the way, for the record, after this caused a bit of an outcry, he had to tweet out later on, also, guys, I'll be back Tuesday for work. Don't worry. Because people were afraid that he wasn't coming back anytime
That's
soon.
the thing, is it what he was here from fucking Saturday till goddamn Wednesday? Now my first tour is over. It was a cold winter. I feared at one point the Tories may have been able to emerge triumphant, but fortunately, as we dug into the trenches, the cannons arrived from General Farquhar.
My first tour, also known as 2 days in Duluth.
I'm serious. He was at the pay-per-view and the goddamn TV taping on Wednesday, right?
And Thursday.
They did one Thursday.
I think so, yeah.
So they didn't tape all of the Collision stuff on the Wednesday night taping with 3,000 people there. They came back the next night with less people.
Let's see. They taped Dynamite. I don't have anything here for Collision. They taped Dynamite and Rampage, but Collision was taped the next day.
How many people did they have?
Oh, we already said that. That was
No. There was 2 nights. They had 3,200 or whatever Wednesday night for Dynamite. What about for Collision on Thursday night?
Well, Collision the next night, same Gas South area, Gas South Arena, Duluth, Georgia.
It's a gassy area. There's a lot of Waffle Houses.
We're the Gas South gang. You better watch out. At that point in time, I don't know if these are the final numbers, but tickets distributed were 2,166.
Oh, good Lord. All right.
And for the record, that building, the Gas South Arena, capacity is listed as 13,000, but I don't know if that's for basketball or not. So that changes things.
Well, no, that a capacity for an arena will always be listed as the amount of permanent seats. And if you put ringside or for concerts on the floor, that's extra. Then there's a capacity for fire. You know that you can't have over such and such people in the building, but they generally list an arena capacity by the permanent seats for a show with nothing on the floor, but a court or whatever. But nevertheless, that's a fucking very small number of people for a very big building for 2 nights in a row. The tickets distributed were 5,000 over the 2 nights, and the capacity of the building twice is almost 30,000. So
you can add up both nights; it still isn't even SmackDown. It's not even halfway. It's not
there
even
you
halfway
go.
There. Jeez.
But nevertheless, let's do one thing. Let's do our exercise and then move on from these ratings. Take the ratings and drop the first quarter and drop the overrun that are artificial numbers, and take the 7 in between quarters and see what the fuck the average is now. We're the only people that do this honest to God, real factoring in of things.
Divided by 7.
Yeah, carry the 2.
764,000 viewers.
700. So they got an artificial bump of 15,000 on their total by having the overrun and the artificial first quarter with the Big Bang minute. Well, there you go. Every little bit helps when the team is in need, Brian. Every little bit helps when the team is in need. But you know what? I'm thinking, just off the top of my head, Brian Last, that the AEW talent roster, before they're tough enough to whoop up on the head of the table and the board of directors and the American Nightmare and all those other big stars over on the other channel, they're going to have to eat a lot more of their meat and potatoes, as Mama Cornette used to say. They're going to have to get out. They're going to have to clean their plates, and they're going to have to work hard to get big and bad enough to fight the big boys, aren't they?
I mean, there's a chance Tony would pay for these meals. Yeah.
Well, but, there's a chance that Tony will pay for anything. Until finally Tony's so broke he won't be able to pay attention. But I'll tell you, folks, if you're getting tired of paying high prices for rotten meals, and you want to pay lower prices for those rotten meals, or if you're getting tired of just eating dreck and fast food garbage that's bad for you, that's going to give you some kind of horrible cancerous growth on your body, or it's going to poison your innards and your insides, or it's going to give you some kind of leprosy on your skin because all this modern food is just horrible for you. Or if your hurry-scurry existence that you live in, the hustle and bustle of your world is too busy for you to be able to go in that kitchen and concoct the oysters Rockefeller from scratch and make the sauces and the gravies and the various puddings of the world.
Snappy Pappy.
Snappy Pappies. If you don't have time for all that, you need to talk to our friends at Factor, because eating has never been easier and eating better has never been easier. It's never been easy for me. Pimping was easy, but eating better was not. But Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals, they put everything in there. I mean, they put the main course, they could put the sides. The only thing they don't put in is the bill with the tip for the server, because you're just popping this stuff in the oven or the microwave. Boom, it's ready to go in just 2 minutes. Like Lauren Boebert, you'll have over 35 different options to choose from. Every week of the calendar year, including they got the Calorie Smart line, the Protein Plus line, the Keto line. Now, I'll tell you some of the fine dinners that we had over here at the castle. We had the roasted garlic chicken with green beans and sour cream and the onion mashed potatoes. We had the red pepper queso chicken with brown rice, and who can forget the ever-popular Parmesan and sun-dried tomato chicken penny with the roasted green beans and the pearl onions.
Penne, not penny.
Well, you say penne, and I say penny, and we ate it just the same.
It's penne.
You don't have to be able to pronounce it to eat it. And that's what you must do. You must eat these Factor meals, and they've got everything take care of you all day. They got breakfast. They got smoothies. They got midday bites. And once again, a chef has approved this. And you know those cooks, boy, I'll tell you what, you slip them something under the table, they'll get into anything. But a chef has approved this, and a dietitian, and whatever they do. They apparently, the dietitians are the ones that craft the diet plans that you can't stick to.
No, the dietitians they work with are the ones who help craft the right meals with the right caloric intake and all that stuff.
Well, that's exactly what the caloric intake is, what the dietitian is all about, and they'll control this stuff, and you'll be surprised what you'll find when you look at the various ingredients. You're not going to find things like sewer sludge and motor oil. You're going to find good quality, real food ingredients in these items. And again, they're ready to heat up. You can just run a candle under them, shine a flashlight on them. It'll get warm enough. Eat some things rare every once in a while. There's no mess. If you eat the whole thing, you got nothing left. Just throw the dish away. So no prepping, no cooking, no cleanup. Well, you can spend all your time getting a second or even a third job or discovering a cure for cancer. And they have figured out, Brian, mathematically, that Factor meals are less expensive than takeout. And every meal, of course, dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. So the dietitians also are the ones adjudicating the taste value of these meals. That's their job. And you folks can head to factormeals.com right now and use the code JCE50, and you're going to get 50% off whatever you order. And again, the meals for all throughout the day. If you're conscious in the morning, eat breakfast. If you're more alert in the evening, eat dinner. Heck, go crazy and eat 2 meals in one day. You can handle the strain. But if they're all just wrapped up and boxed up and waiting for you, you don't have to lift a finger. Well, you do have to lift a finger because you got to pick up a fork. Unless you want to be a savage and eat with your hands, stick your face in the goddamn tray of Factor meals and just graze like a fucking bovine. That'd be the best thing, but nevertheless.
Wouldn't be the best thing, no, it would not.
Well, but you're going to eat these things one way or the other, I'll tell you that.
They are delicious, especially with utensils like civilized people.
Yes, and finish your plate, because there is people coming by to inspect afterwards to make sure. There's hungry people in Bolivia somewhere, so you can't be wasting food. But anyway, right now, factormeals.com/JCE50. Use that code JCE50 and you get 50% off. If you want to give one to your kids, let them fight over it. If you got more than one kid and you're giving them one meal, well, get them competitive early, but just share it with the whole family. Factormeals.com/JCE50, 50% off the choice or the cost of the food that you choose to feed yourself and your loved ones.
That's right. Factor. Once again, well, you just gave the promo code what to do, but it is delicious. I like the grilled chicken with sweet potato mash and corn, and it's just...
I like the penny.
And the penne. Jim's a fan of... Hey, Jim, real quick, before we move on, here's the lineup for Collision that you didn't watch.
Oh!
The House of Black versus Jeff Jarrett, Mark Briscoe, and Jay Lethal in an Atlanta street fight.
Oh, good Lord. Does it say what happened? Tell me that Jeff Jarrett didn't turn on Mark Briscoe.
I don't have the results, only the lineup.
Well, we'll find. I'm sure it'll be all over the news.
I can pull up the results if you want them. The second match that you didn't see, Jim, Místico versus Angelico.
Well, now, so Místico wasn't involved in the visa fiasco. Either that or he's still in the country, or are they just using his mask and putting it on some guy like Nick Goulas used to do? You don't know?
I was on mute. I know that I was on mute. No, AEW would never do that. That's a WWE thing. They would never hide or pretend someone was the actual masked superstar. Or not the masked superstar, but a superstar that is masked.
The superstar that would be masked.
That's
well,
right.
That's when Nick Goulas had the interns or the Mighty Yankees or some masked team on top, and he would book them in like 2 or 3 different towns, and whoever the biggest advance was would get the real ones.
All right, I have here the rest of the matches, Jim.
Yes.
Brian Daniel. Actually, I have the results, it looks like. In the main event, the House of Black won the 6-man tag street fight over Briscoe, Lethal, and Jarrett. Brian Danielson defeated Shane Taylor. Afterwards, he was confronted by Will Osprey.
And stared at.
That's right. Also, Angelico tapped out to Místico. Chris Jericho defeated Titan. The Gates of Agony then attacked Chris Jericho after the match, but Hook made the save. Also, Mariah May pinned Trish Adora. Deonna Purrazzo attacked Toni Storm, but was DDT'd by May. FTR announced they will be in the tag title tournament. And also the Elite of Okada and the Young Bucks defeated Liam Gray, Adrian Alanis, and John Cruz.
Adrian Alanis?
Adrian Alanis.
So they just threw that out there. His first TV match, his first 6-man tag with his partners in douchebaggery, with no promotion, no advance notice, against job guys. For what purpose?
Tony can't book. Tony can't book.
But again, that kind of guy, and I've been saying, now some people are out there, they're going to be saying, well, Cornette keeps saying, give them easy matches to show their shit. When you sign a multi-million-dollar guy, also advertise it ahead of time. And don't put these fucking leeches in the match either. Let him show what he can do against some quality opponent in an advertised debut so that people might tune in. Hey. Is that all you got there?
That's all I got.